What is good? This is Wager Talk's late night show ahead of the spread, where we check out the open numbers for the NBA for the next day, notable line movements, and discuss key matchups and angles for the games tomorrow. So you have an early edge and betting angle for tomorrow's slate. I'm Ronald Cabang, the co-host with Ski Profit here today. Before we head into checking out the open lines and key movements, real quick, make sure you guys check out. Wagertalk.com for myself and Skee's capper pages. You'll see it down scrolling on the bottom. We also have a BOGO today or tomorrow, actually, is the last day for our BOGO deal right here. Basically, 7 days of all access for both Skee and I for just the price of one handicapper. So get both of us for, I believe it's like $99 or something like that for 7 day all access. All right, so Skee, um, today, I know we talked a lot about yesterday's games and talked about some of our leans. Did you get into any bets from those, or did you pick something different?
Yeah, I chose the Phoenix Suns, and that was about as bad as you could pick for today. Plus 8.5, they lost 92 to 118, so that was pretty bad.
Gotcha. I did take. I know we talked about Boston. I was able to grab that one. I also took the under there, and then I went. I don't know if you messed with Unravel yet, but Unravel's been pretty good. Ski, you're really familiar with the WNBA and those players, but went 2-0 there too. So things went pretty well. I know we're both going to bounce back here, and we were expecting to bounce back. So hopefully we continue to do that tomorrow. We have 5 games on the slate tomorrow. We could start here. I'll share my screen. There you go. We have Odds Logic, and Odds Logic is, a live odds page. It does have like injuries. We kind of talked about it yesterday, but if you're interested in Odds Logic, if you like what you're seeing here, there is a link in the description down towards the bottom of the description of this show. All right. So first game up, we got New York and Brooklyn. Opened up at -10 for New York on the road, up to -10.5 at most books. South Point actually has 11, and then the total opened up at 222, and we're seeing as low as 220 at Circa. You can still get 221 at Pinnacle and some other spots as well. And as far as the injuries, we'll go to New York first. New York, so nothing really new there on their side. If we go to Brooklyn, we got D'Angelo Russell is questionable. Ben Simmons available. Cam Thomas still out. Watford and Bogdanovich out. From a situational standpoint, second of back-to-back for the Knicks. They did get the win today over Atlanta. And then the Nets, they do have the double-digit in-season revenge, rest advantage, but they are on the first game of back-to-back games. What are your thoughts here with the Knicks on the back-to-back, Ski?
Um, well, it's tough for me to. I I mean, I said yesterday, I don't really like laying points with teams that I don't trust defensively.
Mhm.
Hawks were winning pretty much, majority of that game until the second half. Second half is when the Knicks started to kick in gear.
Mhm.
I still don't trust his defense. So to lay 10.5 points seems like a lot, especially at a rest disadvantage. I know the Nets, um, they haven't been the best. They kind of up and down, but it depends on the health of the team. I do see a couple guys still out, so it, it can go either way, honestly.
Mhm.
And a game like that is tough for me to get down.
Yeah, you talk about their defense. Last 10 games, 27th in the league in defensive rating. And if you look at the last 10 games too, second of back-to-back, 0-2 ATS, when less rested, 0-2 ATS. So they definitely do struggle in this spot here too. Um, yeah, this one's pretty tough. I think I would probably agree with you as far as like defense goes. I was thinking maybe some type of team total from a team total perspective because the Nets defense has been struggling too, I believe. Yeah, so they gave up 127, 126 to the Clippers here. So their defense has been giving giving up some points. I was thinking maybe like yeah, if the Knicks are able to if Brooklyn's able to keep it close with the Knicks, maybe a team total over. It'll force Knicks to score more points. So maybe I would lean in that direction. All right, let's move on to the second game here: Portland and Miami. Miami opened up at -11. You can still get -11 at Circa, but you could. Sorry. get this out of the way. But there's a lot of 10.5s available as well. So it's moving towards Portland. Total open up at 220, 220 at most books still. But there are a couple 219 and a halves popping up. So kind of moving towards the under there. From an injury perspective, if we go to Portland first, Robert Williams questionable, Anthony Simons questionable, Klingon and Matisse Thybulle still out. If we go to Miami, Josh Richardson, Drew Smith still out. All right, so from a situational aspect, nothing on the Heat side right now, but if you look at the Blazers, double digit in season revenge, fatigue spot, third game in 4 nights, fourth and sixth. Also a letdown here. They did come off a win over Chicago a couple of nights ago at home. First game on the road after 5 straight home games. Skee. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, yeah, with the injury report the way it is, especially Simon's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
This is already a Blazers team that has been struggling to score. Second worst offensive rated team last 5 games, and if Simons is out,
Mm-hmm.
it could be really tough for the Heat. I think it's the offense that we kind of don't trust. At least lately, they've been playing better defense. Number 6 defensive rated team last 5. So, I
Yeah.
mean, a Blazers team total under makes sense. I'd be curious on the full season stats if the Heat have been good as a double digit favorite. But
Oh, full season stats. Yeah, we could look at that. Let's look at the Heat in line less than or equal to -10. So the Heat as double digit favorites here. Just one game. They failed to cover. They only failed to cover by the hook though, so that's really tight. There they did go under by a decent margin. 224 and a half was the total. Stayed at 218. So they did go under. That kind of trends to the point where you were saying maybe a Blazers team total under type of look. So that kind of makes sense to
yeah,
me.
it just what number we're going to get. I'm checking right now. For Blazers team total under, I see a 104 and a half. So it is really low.
Hmm.
Um, just taking a look at what Miami's been doing lately. I mean, they have been on a little bit more than that. They did play recently.
Hmm.
Actually, they played on the 11th of January. Heat won 119 to 98. So they're capable of blowing this team out. They are
Hmm.
capable of playing defense, holding them under 100. Can they do it again? I guess is the question. I
Yeah.
think they can.
For the last five for the Blazers, they stayed under their team total. Um, and under the what was the number? What did you say? 104 and a half?
Yeah, 104 and a half, three of their
Yeah,
last five, I see. Yeah.
they stayed under three of the last five. Yeah. And then if you think about this one, this was a 236 and a half total. So they definitely stayed under that team total too. So I would probably that was a good point, good call out with the Blazers team total under. I would probably lean in that direction. All right, let's go to the Magic and the Raptors here. Magic opened up at -2.5 on the road, total 215.5. We majority 2.5s across the board. Circa has a -2, then South Point here has a -3. So kind of kind of varies there as far as like where your book is at. Total 215.5 at open, 214 here at Circa, 216 at FanDuel. So it's kind of all over the board here for this game specifically. If we look at injuries, we'll go to Orlando first. Orlando, Goga's out, Harris is out, Suggs. Man, they're missing a whole bunch of people here. If we go to Toronto, uh, Agbaji and Quickly both out. All right, so if we look at situational notes, nothing on the Magic side. Raptors in season revenge. Well, and they have the rest advantage as well. They haven't played since that looks like 4 days ago. They did lose by a huge margin against Milwaukee. Orlando seems like they're struggling to score right now. I mean, with 100, man, they're really struggling to score here. But the Raptors, I mean, they're not known for their defense here. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Ski?
Um, well, maybe you can check what the Magic have done on the road. My initial thought is like I trust the Magic more at home than on the road, but and I look at how the Magic have been lately. Like they've lost a couple games back to back, or a
Mm-hmm.
few games back to back by big margins. But they've been versus the top teams. And Milwaukee, they're playing good right now. Boston, they just won a championship. Denver, we know what caliber they are. So I think it's a big drop down in class to come in here and now play the Raptors. Magic are probably pissed after being blown out 3 times in a row. I get that the Raptors have the rest advantage, but I think that the defense of the Magic is strong enough to hold this Raptors team down. So
Mm-hmm.
I would be looking at Magic on the spread, or maybe even a Raptors team total under, um,
Yeah, that's a good
something like
point.
that.
That's definitely a good point as far as like the under, and Magic having to rely on defense because the offense is. I mean, their offense is non-existent right now. But I just pulled up you you talked about Magic on the road. I pulled up Magic as road favorites, 8-1 to the under. Um, with their offense kind of
Mm.
struggling too, and you expect their defense to show up against this Raptors team. What about a full game under? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't necessarily love the thought of trusting the Raptors defense, but
Hmm.
yeah, the way the Magic offense has been struggling, I mean, I guess we can include them too.
Yeah. Let me check. Raptors at home. Three of the last four to the under. Um, this is a low total too for them, so that's pretty interesting. I'll probably sit the sidelines here on that one, but I would probably lean to the full game under. All right, two more on the board. We have Philly and Denver. All right, so Denver opened up at minus 13 and a half. Still 13 and a halves across the board here. Total 227 and a half. This has steamed up 228 and a half at Circa, 229 at 229 and a half at Pinnacle. Yeah, highest is 229 and a half. All right, so if we go to injuries, let's go to Philadelphia first. All right, man, they got a laundry list here. All right, so Caleb Martin out, McCain's out, Embiid's out, Lowry's out, PG is questionable, Yabusele is questionable, Drummond is questionable. If we go to Denver, I'm assuming they're probably hella just all healthy just because the line. Yep. All right, so they're pretty much healthy across the board. If you look at it situationally, somewhat of a fatigue spot here. Third game in 4 nights for the Sixers. They had a back-to-back against Indiana and Milwaukee. So third game in 4 nights, plus all games were had travel. What are your thoughts here, man? Philly as Nuggets as double-digit favorites at home.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worth it. It could be priced right, is what I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
say. Philly off a couple back to back blowout losses. Denver off a couple back to back blowout wins. Won 5 of their last 6 games. I see a Denver team that's in really good form right now. Their defense has picked up lately too. It's very hard for me to look at anything other than the Nuggets here. One thing I'll say is Nuggets sometimes do start slow, and then if they do that here in this game, it'll be a really good second half bet.
That's a good point. Like a live bet. You're talking about like second half bet, not a live bet. Let me So I'm just looking at. So I was looking at the Sixers as double-digit dogs, 0-4 straight up, 1-3 ATS, 3-1 to the over. And then if we look at the Nuggets as double-digit favorites here, 4-1 straight up, 3-2 ATS, 3-1-1 to the over. So kind of trending towards the over in that aspect. Um,
Teams going opposite directions here. Sixers haven't covered in 5 straight.
mhm.
Nuggets covered 4 of their last 5. It's just very hard for me to trust Philadelphia right now.
Yeah, especially with the roster that they're putting up, and the questionables too. Because Yabusele has been pretty solid this year for them, especially when Embiid is out. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to trust them, even as double digit dogs here. All right, last game on the board: the Wizards and the Lakers here. Lakers open up at 14 and a half, come down to 12 and a half at most books. You see a minus 13 here at Bet Online. And then the total 231 and a half. This has come down a bit to 230, 229 and a half. You still can get 231 over at South Point, but majority 229 and a half and 230. All right, from an injury perspective, we'll look at the Wizards. Brogdon questionable, Bagley and Sadiq Bey out. If we look at the Lakers, AD questionable. Wood and Vanderbilt out. Situational notes here. Fatigue spot for the Wizards, 3rd and 4, 4th and 6. Nothing on the Lakers side. They do have Boston on deck, so potential look ahead. But I mean, non-conference. Not sure what. Both of these actually non-conference, and they're coming off a game against the Clippers. Um, Double-digit favorites here for your Lakers. Skee. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it makes sense. I always say this why the Wizard spread is what it is because
Mm,
when they lose, they usually lose by double digits. The Lakers, though, I mean, I can't make them an exception. They're the second worst defensive rated team, and we're gonna expect them to win by 2 touchdowns, pretty much.
mm-hmm.
It's just something I can't do myself. I can't try to tell other people to do with their money. I just don't think it's very smart. So from that aspect, it's Wizards as the lean, but maybe the over in this game. I mean, I talked about how bad the Lakers defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Only defense that's been worse the last 5 games is the Wizards, and Wizards are playing. I mean, contrast styles as far as pace. Third in pace for the Wizards, 30th for the Lakers. I think versus Wizards defense, it'll be a game where the Lakers are fine playing at a more up tempo
Mm-hmm.
speed. So I think the over is what I would prefer here. I'm not sure that you have to run and go, bet it immediately because it looks like it's going down right now. I
Mm-hmm.
would probably wait on the injury report, just make sure you got everybody you want. Um, yeah, over or Wizards, I guess, are my recommendations for this game.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at Wizards as double-digit dogs here. Only one. I mean, obviously, don't expect them to win here. 1-24 straight up as double-digit dogs. 10-14 and 1 ATS. If you look at the Lakers side, they actually haven't been double-digit favorites much this season, but there's 1-2 ATS, 1-2 to the 2-1 to the under. Um, but they're pretty tight to the total here. So from a trend perspective, nothing really there. But if you look at the last 10 games, um, the defensive rating for both of these teams here, last 10 games, 30th in the league for the Wizards, 28th for the Lakers. You can see if I mean this is one of those games where I feel like the Lakers will probably be okay running with pace with the Wizards because I mean who doesn't want to score points, right? So I definitely agree with you as far as the over goes. And if you look at team total perspective, Lakers giving up their opponents 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games too. So they're giving up a ton of points in recent form. So definitely lean with the over there. Probably not gonna even give anything on the side because that number is gross. All right. So with that said, Skee, we went through all 5 games. Let me pull this off real quick. No unrivaled until the 25th, I believe. So probably I don't know. Do you think you're gonna be touching unrivaled, Skee? I mean,
Honestly, I haven't seen lines for it. So if I don't
oh
see lines, I'm not paying attention. I'm not wasting my time to watch it. I
yeah,
mean, I love basketball, but I love making money. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
I only so I have so only one of my books that I have has lines available, but they're kind of juicy. They're at like -120,
mm,
-130, and I think it's because they're not available everywhere. So they're able to kind of to add that juice in there. But uh, I think that if you find Oddski, you're gonna love it just because man, I've been watching the games. AT is built for this. Arike, I know we hate Arike and how she plays 5-on-5, but in this 3-on-3 full court format, bruh, her and Ryan Howard is just really fun to watch. So yeah, I think you would actually like it. But yeah, CWA stood for crackers with attitude. Nah, man, that's me, Ski, and Jay. That's us right there. Uh, with that said, end of the show, guys. If you guys like the show, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys check out our links in the banner right there, wt.buzz/RC, and then HP for Ski over there. Also, one last day for the BOGO deal. So myself and Ski for a 7-day all access pass for the price of one. Tomorrow's the last day, so make sure if you guys are interested in purchasing that, tomorrow's the last day. Any last words, Ski?
Um, I have a college basketball bet that I'm going to be making and putting a $5 Tuesday,
Mhm.
and I don't always put up stuff overnight, but it's one that I think is a pretty solid bet, and I won 8 of my last 11 college, so you guys can look out for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I do see a lot of familiar faces there. B Daddy, KC, Valentine Rojas, Coach Jim. Appreciate all you guys staying up late and rocking with us. Mitch Armstrong, B
It's
Man.
been a while.
Appreciate you guys.
Been a while since I've seen Mitch around, so it's good to see him out here.
And Robert
Um,
says he loves the show. Appreciate the input and you watching.
yeah, definitely. I actually forgot to do the recap. Ski. Any leans towards any games tomorrow that
Yeah,
you
these
want to
games
leave
are
for
kind of
the?
tough tomorrow,
Yeah.
but as of right now, I am looking at that Portland team total under 104 and a half. I think that Magic under we talked about
Mm-hmm.
makes some sense, and I have to try to find, is there any reason for me not to back the Magic? I'm looking at the Magic as well.
Got you. So I think I agree with the under in that Magic and Toronto game. Portland team total under makes a lot of sense too. I like your thought process on the Lakers Washington Lakers Wizards over as well. Nothing else. I mean, like double all these double digit lines tomorrow is kind of wild. So probably gonna stay off of most of those other games, but those three I definitely were leaning in that direction. All right. With that said, guys, that's the end of the show. Always got to end like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Until next time, peace.